I am your host, U.S. Army flight surgeon and Iraq combat medic, veteran, Colonel Dr. Damon Arnold. And I have someone who's going to give us an incredible story about this particular business. So, Joan D. Clay is an attorney and founder and CEO of the Village Legal and Community Project. Um, Very rarely do we see someone who gets their skills together, becomes an attorney, and then turns back to help the village of the community. So I'm really pleased to have you here. But we're going to discuss the Village Legal and Community Project services and how they are unfolded in the community and how you can actually avail yourself of these services. So uh, I should say Esquire Clay, Attorney Clay.
Please call me Joan.
Joan, okay. Joan, let's tell me more about this. What is the Village Legal and Community Project Services? What's that all about?
So, the Village Legal and Community Project is a nonprofit that I
Mhm.
founded about 3.5 years ago.
Great.
We're based on the south side of Chicago. I'm a South Sider born and raised. So, during COVID, I really had a chance to kind of think about what was really going on around me. And one of the things that bothered me was that my community didn't have the resources that it needed, especially in times like that. And so I said to myself, if I could, start an organization, what would it look like? And I literally put pen to paper, started thinking about what we would do, what we would offer, how we would, run things. I called up a couple of people to say, hey, are you interested in being on my board? And did all the paperwork, got our 501c3 status, and we launched. And
Mhm.
literally, it's a response to what's going on in the community and people not having the things that they need. So we have three primary areas that we focus on. The first are pro bono legal services, civil legal services. So landlord-tenant issues,
Mhm.
parenting time, child support,
Mhm.
debt collection,
Mhm.
powers of attorney for health care and for property, things like that. And then we also have a cohort for people who are interested in entrepreneurship. We do a free cohort where we walk them through for 8 weeks the things that they need to know to have a successful business. So we talk about legal entities and business plans and marketing plans and how do you finance your business and financial statements, all of the things that can be a mystery for somebody who's new to entrepreneurship. And then our third program is geared toward the youth in our community. We take our entrepreneurship program, it's called our BOSS program, BOSS, and we've created a baby boss program. And so we're now working with high school kids who are interested in entrepreneurship. And
Mhm.
we go in and we teach them for 8 weeks the tools that they need to know for a successful business. And with both of those, for our adults and our youth, we end with a pitch contest. And so literally it's like they come before judges who are successful entrepreneurs. They pitch their businesses and we award them with prizes like seed money and business
Mhm.
plans. But
Wow.
the legal services are really one of the things that I wanted to talk about because we work with veterans and we actually have an honor grant from Cook County Department of Veteran Affairs. And we've been focused on providing pro bono legal services to veterans because, like, in addition to like the landlord tenant issues and the parenting time, there are also sealing and expunging issues, driver's license reinstatements, and discharge upgrades for those who have a less than honorable discharge. So, this program for me is hard work. My dad served in the Army. He was a
Wow.
WW2 veteran. My
Wonderful
staff
service.
attorney, both of her parents are retired military.
Mhm.
One of my board members served in the Navy for 28 years. He's a
Wow.
retired master chief.
Yes.
So, for me, this is very, very personal because my dad,
Mhm.
loved his time in the military and the discipline and the structure that it taught him. But I do know that a lot of times our veterans have issues when they return. And, I think a lot of people are under the assumption that veterans come back and they get all of the things that they need and it's just carte blanche. And that's not the case. And so we're very, very honored to provide pro bono legal services for our veterans.
Yeah, so what kinds of cases do you encounter? Maybe you can tell us, without names and that kind of thing, but what types of things do you see when you're, helping veterans? And, it seems like in those situations, they really need someone that can, who really is going to support them in that effort. So,
Yeah, I mean, we see a lot of landlord-tenant issues. That's our
mm,
number one area. We have a lot of veterans who are living in properties that are not where they should be. So there's an issue of habitability. The landlords are not taking care of the properties. They're building code violations, mold, rodent infestations, bed bugs, just all sorts of issues that nobody should have to live like that. And so a lot of times they don't know what their rights are. And so we're able to come in and say, hold on a minute, the landlord has a duty that's owed to you, and these are the things that are their responsibility. And so we help them. We can either do like brief advice and counsel. Maybe they just have a question about what their rights are or how to do something. Or maybe they need limited representation, where sometimes we write a letter to the landlord saying, you've got XYZ amount of days to
yeah.
clear up these issues, or we're going to have to withhold the rent or to
Mhm,
possibly take you to court. And then
mhm,
we also represent people in court. So we have a
mm.
lot of people, a lot of veterans who come to us and they have an eviction that's been filed against them. And sometimes they're illegal evictions. But if you don't know the law, you don't know what you don't know.
Yes, yes. And that could be a very dangerous situation because then you start to say things and, I have quite a few friends who are attorneys and, judges, and they, the thing is keep your mouth shut and, make sure that you have representation, the correct representation. And if you don't know that, you can actually get into more trouble, you know,
Yes.
uh, uh, by
I've seen
saying
people
things.
get evicted who had a valid defense, but they didn't know how to present that information. And so unfortunately, they were evicted.
They were evicted. Yes, yes.
We even get evictions sealed when they've been wrongfully filed so that a person's record isn't tarnished. So some people don't understand the process for getting an eviction sealed if it wasn't a valid eviction.
Ah. So, what kinds of, because you were mentioning entrepreneurs,
Mhm.
and what types of businesses do they go into? It's kind of interesting. Do they sort of parallel themselves after, a legal community kind of view, or they come with different ideas, innovative ideas?
We have like a lot of creative entrepreneurs out here. I've had people start like mobile car washes where they come to you and they'll service your vehicle. And from that, they actually went to car dealerships and got, really lucrative contracts cleaning the cars on the lot. We've
Wow.
had people set up, coffee shops and people who are doing like the marketing, like they do t-shirts and they do business cards. So we've had a lot of really creative business ideas that people have started and launched with their businesses.
Wow. Yeah, what is the age range, that you normally see in that group?
Anywhere from for our youth, we have 16 and 17-year-olds who are interested in starting a business up to I've had people in their mid 60s, early 70s who were like, this has always been a hobby or a passion project. How can I turn it into a real business? And so that's what we're there to do, is to have people go from like idea to actual creation. We talk about how to set up your business with the Secretary of State. What's the requirements for that? The different types of entities. Some people don't know there's corporations, there's partnerships, there's LLCs. They
Mhm.
don't know the difference. So we explain that. We've helped people set up nonprofits because they want to actually give back to their community. So they want to find a way to, be a nonprofit and be able to do that work. So we've had
Mhm.
a lot of creative, people, and a lot of people who are like, I love to bake. So now I want to have a bakery. So it's just a natural progression for what they've been doing.
Oh, great. So there's still hope for me, even at my age, huh?
Any age, it doesn't
Any
age
age.
is not a factor with this. It's all about the passion and the ability to, as I tell entrepreneurs, it's not a straight shot. There are gonna be, hills, there's gonna be, it's a rough ride. So you have to be mentally prepared to
Mhm.
be an entrepreneur because everybody's not about that life.
Yeah, because there are two places in the country where the Department of Veterans Affairs has a section, but you have the hospital system. So Illinois happens to be one of them, and I think the second other one is in Texas. But you can actually go to the Department of Veterans Affairs that's right next to Jesse Brown VA. So the two of them are kind of conjoined. And I always, so if you do disability claims, things like that, you can go through that section. And they also have business opportunities in there, but I wonder if anyone ever uses them because they say that there are veteran business opportunities that are out there. But this sounds like you actually operationalized it, and I'm wondering if there's a connectivity there, with the Veterans Administration or how how they allocate funding, if that's something that makes sense.
And also, a lot of veterans may not be aware they can get certified as a veteran-owned business, which has its benefits for them as well, and especially if there's certain contracts that they wanna pursue. So that's one of the things that we talk about with the veterans is that there's actually a certification for veteran-owned business.
Oh, really? What's that process? What do you have to do
It's just
to
paperwork, you know the law. It's always paperwork,
it's always paperwork.
always paperwork. And I have, like, one of my facilitators who teaches the cohort on certifications. He has a consulting business, and he actually can work with people on there's different types of certifications, there's different agencies. You can get federal, state, local. It's about figuring out what your business plan is to figure out which certification is in alignment with what you wanna do. So, like, I know somebody who has their, like, minority-owned business certification, and they have contracts cleaning some of the government offices. So
Oh,
there are reasons why you would want those certifications because when they're doing the contracts, they're looking for minority owned businesses, women owned businesses, veteran owned businesses.
yes. So if you're a woman veteran, you actually can hit three things at one time.
You can,
Knock
you
it off the
absolutely
park.
can.
That's
Exactly.
great. That's good to know because I don't think many people are aware of that. That you can actually get that because I've never heard someone say that. I want to be a veterans owned business, always minority owned business. That kind of thing.
Yeah, I
So
don't I don't know if
interesting.
everybody's aware of it. So I'm hoping that, to just share the knowledge because knowledge is power.
Yes, it is. So what do you think people need to know about engaging with your business? How can they get in touch with you?
Mhm.
You know, and okay, mhm,
So we're based in Hyde Park. We're literally our office is right across from Kenwood Academy, but they can email us at info@tvlcp.org. Our phone number is area code 773-234-0027. And then we
mhm,
also have a bunch of walk-in clinic opportunities if anyone, has a question, want to come in. For example, we're going to be at Woodson Library tomorrow from 12 to 2, and we're there the first Wednesday and Thursday of every month. They have a resource
mm,
fair the first Wednesday, and then we have dedicated time on Thursday. So anyone, it's open to the public, anyone can come in and speak with the attorney. We also have walk-in hours at Olive Harvey College. They're one of our great community partners, and we have time there the second and fourth Monday of every month from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Again, open to the public. They can come in, tell security they're here to see the lawyer, and they'll point them in our direction. And then we're also at Target Area Development over on 79th Street the second and fourth Wednesday of every month from 10 to 2. So we're committed to being out in the community so that if somebody needs to talk to us, they can walk in and talk to us. They can also make an appointment to come to our office.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. And I have a good friend, and he just retired as a judge, but Bill Hooks, and he was with the Justice Project, with the juvenile justice system that's on 26 in California, and Charles Nesbitt too, another attorney. But
Mhm.
they were doing some things with trying to help veterans who were getting into a little bit of legal trouble. But I like what you're doing because it sounds like you're connecting them to not just getting out of legal trouble, but to having a path forward, which
Yes.
is really important for them to have a job. And how many attorneys do you have in the system? And
It's myself, and I have a full-time attorney and I have a paralegal. So we are at the beginning of the year, we're probably going to be expanding and I'm probably going to be hiring at least one or two more attorneys and or paralegals because we're getting, the demand is growing. And so we want to make sure that we have enough, people to service clients. And also I'm very committed to not burning out my staff and making sure that there's this balance of quality between work and home life. So the balance is also important to me in the environment that we create.
uh,
Okay. No, I
when you
was
were
just saying
speaking,
there's a full-time attorney and there's also a paralegal. And in the beginning of the year, I'm probably going to be hiring a couple more people.
oh, good, good. Yeah, and I mean, because it sounds like that service is desperately needed. You know, do you, uh, in the current climate of everything that's going on, do you see things getting worse as far as the need that's out there? Um, because it seems like people are just, I mean, with the economic situations they're going through, with the divisions in the country, all the stress, and you know global warming. I mean, everyone is going through so many different issues at the same time. And um, I'm not sure if this you see a heightened need for this, and that it needs to be a supported program.
I think there's always going to be a need. The funny thing is, I was meeting with someone, a funder, and they're like, "So when do you think the problem that you're dealing with will like end, where you won't where you won't be necessary?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"So pro bono legal will almost always be necessary in a
Yes.
capitalistic society because not everyone can afford an attorney. And in
Yeah.
criminal, if you can't afford an attorney, you get a public defender. But it's not like that in the civil arena, although it should be, which is why
Yeah.
pro bono legal services, like what we do and the other organizations out here, it's important that we are able to reach those who, if it weren't for us, who knows where they would be. So I don't think that it's ever going to go away. And we're committed to being here, forever because unfortunately, there will always be those who just can't afford an attorney. It's not cheap to go out and engage a private attorney. I was just letting everybody know how they could reach us and some of the matters that we handle, and especially for our veterans. We're asked to do a lot with discharge upgrades. We have quite a few people with the less than honorable. Sometimes we see extenuating circumstances that warrant, submitting a discharge upgrade request for them.
Okay, very good. And I was wondering if, and maybe you can explain to people what pro bono means. For the
Free.
people who don't it means free.
It's free. We
Is it
don't
for?
charge for our services. We have to follow federal poverty guidelines. So we'll ask people on our application their sources of income, and then we look at the family size, and then if they fall within the parameters, then it's free. For there are some clients we have who don't qualify for free. They make too much money for that, but they also can't pay $500 an hour. So what we do is we have sliding scale legal services where somebody may pay $25 an hour. I think our highest is $125 an hour. So if they don't qualify for free, we do let them know what the sliding scale fees are, and we offer help that way. And for a lot of people who are kind of stuck in the middle, so they don't qualify for free, they can't afford, 300, 400 an hour. They're very happy if we can help them for 50 an hour or 100 an hour.
Right.
So we're
Oh,
still
good.
trying to make we're still trying to make the access to justice affordable for
Mhm.
people because we understand.
Yeah, because we have a common phrase. We say healthcare is a right. It seems like legal services should be a right. It's basically enshrined in our Constitution, and this is just amazing. I'm so happy with what you're doing. Especially for our veterans. I see. Because I'm involved with the VFW, Veterans of Foreign Wars and the American Legion, and I see veterans all the time. That we have to sit down and talk to because they're going through a lot of turmoil. You know,
We've gone
um,
to several American Legion halls and spoken with some of the veterans. I still have my dad's American Legion um, uniform.
yes, right.
He was very active. He was very active with the American Legion. So yeah, we do. If anyone if anyone is a member of an American Legion hall and you want us to come out, please reach out to me. We go out all the time and talk to them about different issues that they may be facing from a legal perspective. So we're
Oh,
happy to
great.
do any of the outreach that we can.
Yeah, give the information again about how to contact you. Uh,
Sure. The phone number is area code 773-234-0027.
okay.
And then our email address is info@tvlcp.org.
Okay. Yeah, I would love to have you come out to my post, to give some talks and that kind of thing. But we have a lot of veterans who are going through a lot of issues, and I'm not sure if you get involved at all in estate planning as well. For
We
people.
actually collaborate. I am on the advisory board at a college here that's just opened up a legal clinic, and they focus on estate planning. So can put
Yeah.
anyone in connection with them as well
Oh,
for trusts and wills and yeah, those sort of things.
okay, we're running out of time, but we're going to have you back on, I'm sure. Uh, but really great work you're doing. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you so much.
To put your ability and your abilities and your expertise into doing something so positive for people is astounding. So I'm really
Thank
helpful.